Okay, different little class we have today. Small class today. Actually, Danny's the only one who showed up, so we're gonna do we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna let you in on how we actually teach a class, and he's basically gonna ask whatever questions he wants or whatever he wants to work on, and I'll take you a little bit behind the scenes of how I teach and how we do stuff around here. That's it, and hope you enjoy. All right. Where do you want to start?
Alright. Whoa. On the spot. Bong Sao.
Alright. What about Bong Sao?
Bong Sao motion and then actual equalize, neutralize Bong Sao.
Okay. Just the motion itself. You want to talk about the motion itself first?
Yeah, first the motion and then like how do I guide it to where I don't have to overly, like, because I tend to overly adjust my Bong Sao. So.
Okay. Alright, first let's look at your Bong Sao. Okay. Just you can either start from the Tang's out position, like a rolling motion. Is that what you want to look at?
Yeah.
All right, let's start there. Let's do that motion first. Let's see how you do it. Okay, keep doing it. Not so bad. That's actually not so bad. All right, keep going. All right. Hopefully I'll edit that.
Better hope you spelled your right.
Okay, so first of all, let's look at the Bong Sao motion, okay, when we started off. Start the initial motion. Good. It's not so bad. Okay. When you look at the Bong Sao motion first, okay, think what you want to do. You want to make sure you cover the center line first. So when you go up, see how you're a little like this. See how you're going outside first?
Yeah.
Okay. You go outside first. You have someone who's cheese out with you. He's leaning like this.
Right.
Try going outside first. You feel the weight of it right away, automatically. So a lot of you, if you actually practice cheese out and you're wondering why your shoulders are burning, because a lot of times when you start rolling the initial motion of the bar, you're leading out. So that's like you lifting a weight, really hard to do, okay? So what you want to look at first is here. You want to go, see how this angle is a 135 degree angle? Well, actually this same angle when you go up to Bong Sao is actually 135 also, okay? For the most part, you know, obviously a degree here off and so forth. But you don't want to basically go here and collapse this motion in or stretch this motion out at the end of the bong. So here we have the Tang right here, okay? So see how I keep this relatively the same? You go up with the motion and then finish through right there. Now the main thing you want to notice with the bong, from Tang's out to Bong Sao position, is notice the area that you're in. Notice that when you're rolling in this motion, you're neither what? Compressing it in, like see how you collapse, actually I shouldn't say compress, collapsing it in.
Gotcha.
And then what happens, a lot of times people end up pushing it out.
Right.
Right away, if you do that, if you do this motion where I collapse it in and then push it out.
Yeah.
Collapse it in, push it out, collapse it in, push it out. Right away you'll be using muscle, automatically you'll be using muscle with that.
Okay.
So you want to keep this structure basically, I wouldn't say locked out, but in this natural state as far as maintaining that triangle. So here you go up, same, and then turn. Now, if the motion is done correctly, you have the forward motion into it.
Okay, so that kind of like, it built its own momentum?
It already has it. If you look at it, the motion's already going forward. You don't have to add the forward motion. That's like unnatural.
Okay.
That's like, it's like swinging. You have your natural swing and you add extra into it. Or you have a shot and then add extra into it. Same thing here. When you go here, this is that green area that you're in. You go roll to Bong Sao, and you're already at that area. You don't add extra into it. Feel. If we're here, okay, roll up, boom. Now add extra, push further out. That's muscle, automatically.
The second I push.
Yeah, can you feel it? Here, this is your perfect place. You want to add extra forward, put forward.
Yeah.
This muscle.
Yeah, it comes off from like, it's just wherever you choose to push from.
Yeah. You're already in it. The drill motion is already found within it. That's like if you punch, you don't punch and add that extra into it.
Sometimes when you feel like, alright, like sometimes when I'm in Chi Sao motion with somebody and the pressure starts to get greater, and if let's say I didn't neutralize it, and the pressure starts to overtake, and then it gets kind of tense if you both like kind of get into that point, then it is going to be more like you feel that popping out like almost every time.
Yeah, you end up basically pressing against each other. You ever notice when you roll with somebody and then you push, he's here, he pushes forward, you push forward, I push forward.
Yeah.
What happens? It's like, oh, it looks like structure, it looks so solid.
Right.
But actually, what are you doing? You're just basically blocking each other. All right? You're blocking that motion. Right? So here, you go up, this natural motion here, you have to know exactly where it is and feel. Yeah, I go here in this motion, you can already feel, you're really good control at that point. Anything you put extra into it, you can feel the already muscle.
Yep. No, yeah. I did feel that.
Okay.
That's crazy.
So what's the main thing to remember? Don't collapse it. Don't stretch it out. What that position that you have here, when you do the Bong Sao motion, you roll up, boom, it's already there. See? Not extra forward. I see that all the time. People are adding extra. They're misinterpreting the drill motion, right? That's like, oh, you have to have forward energy in Chun.
This is just them pushing the drill.
Yeah, you're just imagine, anytime you push beyond your point, it's like doing a push-up.
That gives me a really good question. Right, that's opportunity. All right, so like you said, let's say the person's pushing like that. How do you neutralize that without pushing yourself? Because sometimes I'll try to I'll be like, okay, I have to add something to equalize and catch it. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good question. So, okay, now we're getting into that aspect. What happens? Someone's really driving it hard, trying to force it forward like that. And when push comes to shove, the natural reaction is, if we're here, and Danny's pushing boom, and here, see? See, I'm trying to rock with him and then trying to force that motion here. What happens is, when you do that, he pushes here and you push here too. If you're honest with the actual feel of what you're feeling, that's not structure, that's muscle. If you really feel, if you actually know what it feels like, adding the extra push like this,
yeah,
is muscle. If you really know what it feels like, that's adding muscle to it. Okay. So what happens if he's pushing here? He's putting extra into it. The hard part is, how do you neutralize that actual force?
Yeah, that's...
Given that takes a while to develop, given that takes a while to understand, and given that takes a while to actually deal with. So let's look at it. We go up in this position, and Danny's going to push forward more. And what happens? I try to push forward, like beyond my point. See, I'm actually stretching my point to actually meet him on there. And when you do that, that's obviously muscle. But look what happens. If we actually look at the process of it, you have to equalize and neutralize this force that's coming in. How exactly do I do that? So when he pushes here, beyond my point, obviously the stance can't suck.
Right.
Okay?
So you can't go to
no matter what, I can tell you everything that's involved here. If your stance sucks, it's not going to work, okay? So if you're like here and leaning back or leaning forward, see, I can fake it and make it look like I'm actually dealing with it, but that's all muscle, right? So watch, if Danny does that, he pushes in and leans into me. Lean in. See, I collapse it like this, and it'll automatically fall. So here's a tip: if you want to have some fun, you're rolling with somebody who's pressing really like this, just time it. And you feel him trying to push in. See, just time to push in and let it fall. He'll just laugh. It's just a joke. Alright, that's actually being a dick, but oh well. Alright. Anyway, getting back to the question. So how do I neutralize this point? If he's here, he's neutralizing the point. To neutralize the point, you actually have to know what you're doing with that force. When this force is coming towards me and you push out like this, it's like saying, get away from me, force. Okay? It's like you want to repel the force. But in reality, I want to deal with that force. If you end up pushing your hand like this, that's all the arm by itself. See how my shoulder lifts up? That's the arm by itself. And the reason you have the shoulder naturally sink, and you don't have to force that sink in, is without the shoulder sinking, you can't connect it to the stance, to the body and then to the stance, automatically. So, for example, if I have my shoulder up here, see how my shoulders are raised up, and he pushes towards me? See how the first natural reaction of the force is going to be pushing me back. So no matter what, even if he pushes me here, I could go back like this and muscle him back. Yeah, you can do that. You can say you're doing Wing Chun, but it's not. Okay?
Okay.
So you actually have to look at the shoulder. Now look at my shoulder. From here, my shoulder's sunk. See my shoulder, the 3 S's that I usually tell people. This has to stretch. Shoulder has to naturally stretch. See, I stretch it down. This has to sink. The elbow sinks. And then the finger has to shoot, just like a natural tension from here. Now look at my hand. It functions almost like a balloon, right? When he pushes towards my force, okay? Notice my hand just doesn't stay like that. It goes slowly. When he pushes towards my force, the more he pushes towards my force, look how he's creating tension that forces my hand to actually adjust and neutralize that force. So when he's actually pushing here, I'm letting him come in. He's actually coming into it. I actually can feel this force coming in from here to my stance and all the way to the ground. That's what I actually feel. But if I don't feel that connection, he pushes here and I try to go neutralize it this way, you'll automatically get that rock. So that's why you see a lot of people, they cheese off and they're working and then next thing you know, they're getting pushed back and forth like this. That's because the stance isn't actually, you could say you're doing the Ichikima stance, but that doesn't mean it's functioning as the Ichikima stance. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? So watch, when you push here and there's a force that's coming into me. This force is coming into me here, and I connect. And notice the adjustment I'm doing is based off your force. If he pushes, I don't go like this. See, I don't make my adjustment myself. When he pushes towards me, I put everything in place and he's creating more force for me to deal with.
Oh.
You feel that?
Yeah, actually, well, I see it too.
Yeah.
Before I couldn't tell, but now I can see how everything just kind of compresses. Because then you become more solid.
Yeah.
That's...
Now, if you look at it also, there's a concept of how you're dealing with this. Okay, you're dealing with the forces coming in, and how exactly am I reflecting the force? Okay, so a lot of times when he pushes here, right, and you end up pushing this way, what happens? I actually send the force directly to him in this path. That means I'm bypassing this here to here and trying to push him this way. When you do that, that's actually muscle. Okay, because what you want to do is the force is coming to me, but it's coming from his center to his arm to me. But if I just go here, I'm going to force it right here directly to him, I'm bypassing where the actual source is coming from. Okay, so what do I have to do? I actually have to make sure that when I deal with this force and it reflects back into him, not only does it go from him to, from this point to here, but actually, if it travels this source to get to me, it'll travel back to that source to deal with it again.
So you kind of want to direct it that way?
Yeah, well, think where the source is coming from.
Like, yeah, but I usually think like in terms of, because it's gotten easier for me to keep focus at the center if I just focus everything new.
You still focus at the center, but you got to send the path back the same way it came from.
So I have to pay attention to the structure of the person.
Otherwise, it's like me. Feel the difference. You're pushing towards me, I just go like this.
Yeah.
You don't feel it. But look, I'm here. You push towards me, I send it to the force, automatically it feels your center offset.
Yeah.
Because what happens, if I go here, that means he's still sending more force and I'm trying to bypass it here. But if he pushes it here and I do the right cut angle here, it'll send it back here at the same source that it's coming from.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to send it back directly to the same path that it's coming from.
I can feel it right down the leg too, like, okay.
All right. Now, in order to do that, you actually have to, there's two kinds of cut. You either have to be active or passive depending on the cut. So in this situation, he's putting here, okay? If he's pushing towards me, okay, see how the force is coming in this way from the Bong Sao? And I go this way, see how I'm turning this way to cut with him, this way? I'm actually, think of it, while I do want to meet the force, I don't want to run into the force head on. And feel the muscle. You push towards me, here.
Yeah.
It looks solid, but you can feel there's tension here. Doesn't look like much, but there's still tension here. Because I want to deal, everything has a balance to it. If he's coming in actively to put in that amount of force, and I try to match him actively here, and he overpowers me, then you're going to end up using muscle. So what do? I actually have to go with it. When he pushes towards me, I actually, look at my hand, it actually rotates this way, I'll exaggerate this way, and it actually automatically passively cuts. But when I rotate this way, notice I'm not collapsing it. If I collapse it, it won't work. If I go like this and collapse it, won't work. He pushes, my hand rotates, and it goes into the force that way. See how it actually rotates naturally. I don't have to force it. I don't have to force it this way or this way. If I hold my tension correctly, he pushes, push, see? It'll automatically turn my hand. You see it naturally turn. Otherwise, if I don't have the tension right, he pushes, I have to fake it myself and do it.
That's what makes you collapse too, because if you overturn it, then you
Just think, your job is to hold the tension correctly so the body naturally reacts. But if you're at the point where you still don't know how to hold it correctly, I'm gonna have to do what? You push, and I fake it. See how I have to turn, which is okay because that's the beginning learning stages. But when you actually have it correct, where you know exactly how to hold the tension correctly, when you push towards me, automatically the tension adjusts. See, I don't have to do much to deal with that force. Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't deal with it, I won't be able to reflect that force back towards it. Okay?
And the reflection is what's going to keep their structure from being able to advance.
If I don't reflect the force, that means I'm eating the force myself. I mean, feel here, in this position. What does this feel like? This feels like, let's say, 5 pounds. Okay. Right? You push towards me, I won't reflect it. Push hard. Does it feel more?
It's like you're taking, yeah.
Yeah. See, the 5 pounds becomes 10 pounds, becomes 20 pounds, and so forth, and my stance can only absorb so much. But in reality, when he pushes it and I absorb it correctly, 5 pounds is still 5 pounds. See? Even the harder he pushes, it's still the same.
Yeah.
It's still the same. It's still the same. But that's the key. You have to be able to reflect that force back and not accept more force from that current point. Okay?
Reflect the force back, accept no force from that current point.
Yeah, think of it. You don't want to load more onto it.
Gotcha. So if it's 2 pounds, keep it 2 pounds.
Yeah, keep it 2 pounds.
But the thing is, okay, what if it is 2 pounds and then all of a sudden mid-roll motion, that's when the person puts the tension in?
It doesn't matter.
How do you adjust? You just adjust?
Yeah, I adjust because the reason you have a hard time to adjust is if you don't have control of your roll from here,
yeah,
and then you try to get control here, then you'll be like, oh, you tense up from that position.
Okay.
But notice, when I roll from one position to another,
Right.
feel the control. I control this point here.
Right.
When I move, feel, I'm still controlling the point.
Okay.
I don't go like this here, and then I try to get the control back from point A to B. You won't be able to do it that way.
So you have to still kind of feel the connection even in the
Always.
motion. The roll.
That's like your center. Think of your center. You have your center, then you let go of the center. You don't do that. You have your center, you control it all the time. I don't take the center in a step. I have my Ichikima. I take a step, I don't go like this, lose my center, and then try to get back into it. Right?
That makes sense.
You're always in control. Always. That
Yes.
principle outlines everything that you do. You don't go and take the punch from the beginning and go boom, and then try to regain control of it again.
Yeah.
You have control from beginning to end.
Okay.
Okay?
Makes sense. All right. What about two-handed Chisao,
Okay.
equalizing both points?
Same thing. Equalizing both points. The key thing to equalizing both points is are you balanced yourself?
Yeah, it's a bit more based on your own structure than the actual roll.
Yeah. Because let's say you're like this, and I go here.
Right.
I don't know how to balance myself. I actually balance myself out. See, I balance myself evenly. I don't care if you're balanced out. I balance myself evenly, and I'll be okay.
So your stance isn't always going to be the same then. As far
here,
as
I can adjust it. I adjust my triangle here to balance myself out.
Okay.
In that position. Remember, the key, when you're rolling, how do I naturally know how to attack? Imagine I'm holding this 50 and 50.
Right.
That means every time the triangle, I don't think of it as one hand attacking and the other hand attacking. It's two hands functioning as one triangle. So if this is balanced 50-50 and I push here based off this force, I go 50-50, up 51-49, boom, that's how I hit.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
So if I don't know how to hold it evenly, how am I I'm gonna have to use technique in order to do the punch.
And you learn even from like double-handed motions, right? Like
You
punches
do
and
double punches even
lops.
from here. Anything you do, you're applying even because that's the 0 point of the technique. Make it even. If you don't know even, then you'll roll like this.
So would you say that even is more important than
Even's a 0 point.
but you think even is more important than equalize, neutralize? Like this?
You can't. It's hard to equalize neutralize if you're not even.
Okay.
It's hard in the beginning. Eventually, it doesn't matter, but in the beginning, it's hard to balance it out that way.
Okay.
Hard to balance it that way.
And it's like, because just looking for 50-50 can be tough sometimes. It's like, okay, like
Because think about it, the number one problem most people have when they roll, what do? See how I'm stretched out?
yeah,
And
Well,
stretch-
you hop into the
yeah,
structure.
you stretch out, there's no support. Like, let's say you put your hands up. Looks good, right? But I know there's no support. See how I can open up his hands?
Yep.
Just because your hands are there doesn't mean your body's supporting it.
So the hands have to be supported by the body once they're
All the time. So if you have your body here, right, and you connect it. See, connect. Yeah. Connect. Here, see? This body is actually adjusting right away. See, because it actually has a feel from it. But if your hands are just a little stretch and you don't have that connection to your body,
Yeah.
automatically from here, yeah, it's still a little sink. See, I sink is adjust, sink. Yeah, relax the body. Yeah. Connect. Yeah, better. See, a little bit better. But if I stretch him out, he stretches out just a little. Just stretch out a little. See, stretch out. There's no body connection at all.
So by that little bit of degree, you can make the hands like this. Well, then, I don't want to say it like
But
that.
the hands are on its own. How are you gonna? Who's gonna help it? The body's not connected anymore. You have to use muscle.
So is the 0 point where the hands are still safe right by the fence?
The
Is that what it is?
the 0 point is basically adjustment point. Right here. The 0 point basically is actually the 0 point doesn't exist once you have your partner because you can adjust.
Right.
But you know what right is. You know what I mean by that? In other words, let's say I'm here.
Right.
You don't know where's the 0 point for this technique. The 0 point means exactly how are you supporting this technique. See, he's not supporting. You support here. Fix your stance. Tuck in. Yeah. Now. And there's the 0 point. See how you can support it now.
Yeah. So you kind of have to have, well, the stance has to be behind the motion to support it. Shouldn't collapse.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, this all makes sense. You've said this all before. But
Yeah, but it takes a while for it to sink in.
So, as long as the body...
Look, go ahead. Put your futsal up again.
There.
Whichever. Okay. I test your stance. See, it looks like, see, you can mimic and get to the exact area.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean your body's supporting it.
Right. Because the reaction should happen, right?
The reaction should happen naturally. Fingers tension is correct. Okay, put that in place. Good. The outer edge of here. Okay. And then come in. No, they come to. They come in to your stance. Yeah, see how you naturally spring out naturally like that. But you don't have to create the tension yourself. You know?
I just can't sit. It doesn't let me just sit in that.
Yeah, you have to practice it.
That's like...
You always have to practice. You can't just be like, oh, well, it's only 4 steps to open Yichikimi Ma.
So it's...
It takes a while to really...
Yeah. You're like, stupid kid.
Alright. Okay. Different little class we have today. Small class today. Actually, Danny's the only one who showed up. So we're gonna do we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna let you in on how we actually teach our class, and he's basically gonna ask whatever questions he wants or whatever he wants to work on, and I'll take you a little bit behind the scenes of how I teach and how we do stuff around here. That's it. And hope you enjoy. All right. Where do you want to start?
Alright. Whoa. On the spot. Bong Sao.
Alright, what about Bong Sao?
Bong Sao motion and then actual equalize, neutralize Bong Sao.
Okay, just the motion itself. You want to talk about the motion itself first?
Yeah, first the motion and then like how do I guide it to where I don't have to overly, because I tend to overly adjust my Bong Sao. So,
Okay. Alright, first let's look at your Bong Sao. Okay. Just you can either start from the thumbs up position, like a rolling motion. Is that what you want to look at?
Yeah.
All right, let's start there. Let's do that motion first. Let's see how you do it. Okay, keep doing it. Not so bad. That's actually not so bad. All right, keep going.